Okay, once you set our after what, 27 or 30 years of marriage? He's covering it up. Jimmy Boss. Okay. How are you? Hey, nice to meet you. And either I knew you were coming. Yeah. I mean, he can't find anything at home. You knew her. Bills and all. Yeah, I know. My granddaughter.
How you doing?
Hospital. Not a yeah, I know. This is. Oh, okay. I didn't see that. Good. Go see her and I'll take a picture. Somebody's got to take a picture. Oh, you can. Oh, he got one. Does anybody?
Hewitt-Trussville Class of 1966.
Here's the lake. Honey, take one of the whole room. Where was the only thing in the front? No!
I'm low.
Larry, you're supposed to be in the Larry!
Don't jump up and down.
Johnny, did you get one?
Bill Holloway died.
Bill died 18 days after, when he got back to wherever it was he was to ship out from, somehow they lost record of his leave. And they gave him a second leave in October. And then he left, and he died on December the 10th, 18 days after that.
When he came home on the leave, you know, Phil and I were real close. He spent more time at my house than I did. My mother bought more peanut butter and jelly for him than she did our whole family. But he called me and John Henderson, and I don't know if y'all remember, the brothers.
Egan.
Yeah. And we all met up at the pizza place up on 31, and Phil we were all sitting there eating pizza and talking, and he was fixing to be shipped off, and he said, I just wanted all of y'all to meet because I know I'm not going to see you again. And 18 days after he got there, he got killed. But my granddaughter and I went to Washington last year on her 5th grade field trip, and we got to go, and she went with me, and we rubbed his name off the wall, you know, and it was.
Why should have brought it with you?
I don't know why I didn't, because you know, it's real precious to me.
I left on November the 30th to go to Germany, and Phil came to the airport when I left.
Oh.
tell me goodbye. And then after I got over there, Mother wrote me a letter and told me that he had gotten killed.
There's a wall in a little park there in Anniston. Just Alabama veterans. He's on that one too. I saw it there.
Where?
In Anniston.
Is it still there, or is it was moving through it?
No, it's there.
It's there.
It's a permanent?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a permanent wall. It's just Alabama veterans.
Well, I can't see the list that's back there. Name someone else that's on it so we can...
Linda Bain died, she's been gone about 10 or 12 years. She had Crohn's disease and had a bad episode. They had actually not diagnosed it at the time she went in the hospital. They weren't sure what was wrong with her, but she had a perforation, and then they realized what was wrong with her, but it was too late. And then 2 years ago today, Annette died. Annette Hill died.
Yeah, I remember what Annette died.
Annette was diabetic, had foot surgery, and she died. They assumed, they did not do an autopsy. She died at home, and they...
From foot surgery?
They said that she had a blood clot. Blood clot go to her heart. She's been gone 2 years.
And I'm going to tell Joy, too, in front of y'all, that Joy's sister just died, and we're sorry about that, too. Who else?
Jerry Green was killed in an industrial accident at Sitco.
At a Sitco?
Yeah, he was crushed.
Oh, wow. Crushed.
Yeah.
When was this?
Summer before.
Wow.
My crew went to Jerry, and he had probably rode, there was a locomotive pulling some cars, and he'd probably done it 100 times just to, instead of walking, just jump on them. But they were, the cars, there was one of them that was loaded, and it shifted a little bit, and so as you go into this little, like a roundhouse part, he got mashed. Well, he wasn't dead then. They transported him by a fire department carrier, and they talked to him on the way, and he did real good. He was coherent at the hospital and everything, and then they went to operate on him, and he never survived the surgery.
Was he married to Charlotte Massey?
Wasn't he married to Charlotte Massey?
I think so, right after high school.
He got another wife now.
Well, Charlotte Massey's married to Barry Brown for a long time.
Beverly Fowler.
Yeah, Beverly Fowler.
I just know what she had breast cancer.
Breast cancer.
Eddie Sanders.
Yeah, Eddie Sanders.
How did he die?
Heart attack, someone
He died of
said.
a heart attack, didn't he?
Heart attack. His mother said he died of a heart attack.
Dennis Long had, didn't Dennis have cancer?
I don't know.
Died of cancer.
I think Terry Ost was telling me he saw Dennis Long in the hospital
On the way back.
on the way back from Vietnam.
Hospital ship. So I actually got back to the States.
But that's not what he was doing okay then.
He was doing okay at that time.
Yeah. I don't know who else is on the list back there.
Mickey Haynes.
Sorry. Susan's going to look. Good.
Kirk Davis.
Kirk Davis. He had an illness.
He had a lung disease.
Yeah, something in his chest.
He had a rare lung disease.
A rare lung disease, and he was raising his children himself, and he died. Who else, Susan?
Martha Mays.
I don't know if anybody knows much about Martha Mays. She didn't do much. Who? Linda Brackle. Is that Dianne Brackle? Dianne Brackle. Anybody know? Anybody else? Who else? Oh, there's a new one, James McKinney, down at the bottom of that list. We just got an email, and it'll be on the next update, that his wife said that he died
Of a lung disease that he contracted in Vietnam.
of a lung disease he contracted in Vietnam.
And I think it was what called the orange.
Agent Orange.
Agent Orange disease.
Yeah.
The next update will have that on his wife lives on Sweeney Hollow Road, and that'll be her address will be on there. So I tried to find his picture to put up there, but he wasn't in the photo part. His name was in the, he belonged to the chemistry club part. Or something like Compass Club. Not past the first letter. Who else? I teach kindergarten. Myra Kazara. Anybody? Cancer.
That was pretty, that wasn't very long after we graduated. That was about,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was about 5 years after we graduated.
Anybody else on that list?
Mickey Haynes.
Mickey Haynes.
Mickey Haynes died of a drug overdose.
A drug overdose. Mm-hmm.
His daddy was a state trooper, wasn't he?
Jim Nettles? Anybody know about Jim Nettles? Anybody else? Huh? Wayne Barber? No, I don't remember Wayne Barber. Was he? All right. So, this is a somber time to think that however many were in our class, 350, 380, whatever. There have been that many, but we've remembered them and we are glad that they came across. I know if any of you feel like writing something to include in the database about anybody, you'll notice that some folks have written their thoughts about Eddie Sanders and about Philip Holloway, and anybody who wants to just say something, just zing it to me, preferably on the computer, but if you want to do it by mail, I'll type it. Okay, well that's morbid enough. It's sad. Now we're here, and we're going to rejoice in everyone being here. And
real close, and she has 3 children. And Travis, my youngest one, is a youth minister in Tuscaloosa, and he has 2 children. And then, of course, my husband has 2 more. So really, officially, there's 9. You can't say you don't have, you know. So, and they're in Connecticut, though, so we don't see them very much. I don't know if all of you have read all the stuff, but I've got an antique mall in Calera right on Main Street, 18,000 square feet of pure heaven for you women. I mean, you'd love it. But, and I took a 140-year-old barn on my parents' property and turned it into the house that I live in. And it's been written up in the Birmingham News and Southern Living. Well, Southern Living wants to do an article on it, and I keep putting them off because I'm not ready for them yet. So, but that's about me. I mean, you know, married, divorced, and then now settled.
Yay.
That brought on all the kids.
here, this is...
Next year, we'll just give you something else to add to everything else you do.
Oh, well, yeah, my plate's kind of full.
Well, I'm stopping there. June, I'll be there.
Okay.
I'll call you ahead of time.
All right, okay.
Okay. Emily, and what you do?
Well, I don't have a shop or anything like that, but I do sell real estate, and I have 3 children and 6 grandchildren. And one of my little granddaughters is very attractive, and she is I guess you would say like a, what do you call it, a promotional item for a glamour company. She's 13 now, and then I've got the other ones. They're just, to me, they're just as beautiful. But the highlight of my life, I would think, is when I get together with my sister and all of her grandchildren. She's got 4, so we have 10 all together. So it's really an event when we all get together with all 10 kids. Everybody thinks we're crazy, but I don't know anything else to tell you. But we just have a wonderful time together, and I guess the proudest moment of my life is when we all get together.
Sounds good. Donated from Hewitt-Trussville Go Huskies balls that we have for you. Tell us well, this is for your grandchildren. They don't care.
Tell us about your family and your life.
Okay, let's see. I'm married to a trucker, and I have lived all over the southeast, literally, like a gypsy. I'm right now in Rainbow City, and when I leave here, I'll be going back to Memphis, Tennessee. I have worked with the IRS when I was in Memphis. Yeah, I'm the big bad wolf. I have 3 children. I'm the big bad wolf, really. But I really tried to close all of your accounts, you know, the best way that I could. I have 3 children, 2 girls and a boy. My oldest daughter, she's 31. And I have 3 granddaughters and a grandson. And that's about it.
Well, it sounds exciting. You move around a lot.
They're ready for me to come back.
All right. Yeah. Where are they now?
Memphis.
Memphis. Oh, it sounds like heaven when you get together with your sister. Oh, I have a little bitty family. I'm jealous.
You can come join us.
Oh, I'd like to.
Well, to start off with, I'll just tell you that I've been married 37 years to Norman Prather, who was my high school sweetheart. Fortunately, my twin sister Doris met him first, and he was flirting with her on the school bus, but she was already taken. So we're just glad that she was already taken. But I have 4 grandsons, and I have a son and a daughter. Each have 2 boys. They all play baseball, and we spend 4 nights a week on the bleachers watching them play ball. 2 of them live in Millbrook, and 2 of them live in Thorsby, and we live in Clanton. We're right in between, so we do a lot of traveling. I'm going to say this again for Doris. The times that we have together, she's not only always been my best friend, she's my sister, and she's one of the loves of my life. I don't know what I'd ever do without her. And the best times we've ever had are the trips that we take together. And her and I still get to sneak off without any of the kids or grandkids and go places and have good times together and just renew our friendship as sisters and best friends. And that's about it.
It sounds like heaven to me. Sounds like heaven. Right. That sounds like fun. I'll tell you about my life. Since I just have a little bitty family. I grew up in Trussville. I went to Trussville all my life. I lived in Trussville. Lynne Ormond and I lived in Trussville. Joy lived in Trussville. A few other you lived in Trussville. We didn't know anybody from Irwin. That was a long way away. We went to the same little kindergarten where they made us take a nap. We ruled the same little Boy Scout groups and Girl Scout groups all those years. They might want to ad-lib on that. And we, our mothers were at Hewitt-Trussville together, Lynn's and mine. Our mothers were best friends before they ever started living in Trussville. They knew each other back in the roaring 20s. And my mom and dad are both dead. They died in 93, and I sold the house in Trussville in 94. All my aunts and uncles had died. I was the last resort, the baby of a very large family that's all gone, and I have 3 children. One lives in D.C., one lives in Lafayette, Louisiana, and she's a tree-hugging environmentalist. And she goes out in the swamp and does research. And the 3rd one's dropped out of Auburn twice, but he's going back to school again. So I still have 2 in college. And Tony says I have to work. I teach kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. So that's what I do. Now for the next prize, if you have a child or a grandchild who goes to if you have a child who goes to Hewitt-Trussville High School now, raise your hand. If you have a grandchild who goes to Hewitt-Trussville High School now, raise your hand. If you have a child or a grandchild who goes to Clay High School. Clay High School? Clay. Chalkville. Clay Chalkville. We lost out on that one. All right. If you have a child or grandchild who plays football on an active football team, high school, 9th through 12th grade, raise your hand. No. Nobody has any. Yo, what you got? That sounds good to me. Except she's already won a present, let's give it to her. They got enough children together. We have a memorabilia, Hewitt. Last I checked, we were all the same age here. Hewitt-Trussville versus Clay Chalkville, October 1998. They tell me they call it the Carbon Copy School, Carbon Copy High School of Hewitt and Chalkville. We are the original.
I got one in Clay Hills.
Oh, this will be perfect. Probably fit that one better. All right, our next. Let's not get to that one yet. The late class. What does that say? Oh, the person who has the blasting power. Blasting power candy for the person who can tell us the best I was late to class story from the good old days. I know somebody's got a late to class story. All right, give it. What's your late to class story?
Y'all all remember Robinson, right? He was, what, assistant principal, I guess, when we were there? I can talk about it. Anyway, I was late to class one time, and he called me in there. I heard my name over the intercom. Y'all remember how you always used to hear your name over the intercom, and your teacher would look at you and say, what have you done now? That's the way they did me. So I go into Robinson's office, and he said, okay. He said, you were late to class. I want to know why. And I had tears come in my eyes, and I said, well, I had an accident, and I just couldn't go in class. I was in the restroom washing up my skirt. He said, okay, go in class. Get out of here. Go to class. He did not want to talk about it.
Blasting gaps to blast you in there. Now the best skipping school story. Lynn? It's your turn. Come tell a skipping school story.
I suffer, Mary Louise, from a dread disease.
CRS.
I don't remember any of those stories.
Oh yeah, Paula was there. No, it wasn't. We weren't quite that wild yet. We were. It was Paula though, and you and me and Paula and Linda Barrett maybe. There was somebody. Susan, I don't know if you were with us. And we just went down there, and we got caught, and we got brought back. And when we got caught, we drove in the drive because Lynn's mother had a 64 Super Sport that was yellow, and my mother had a 64 Super Sport that was navy, and we were in one of those 64 Super Sports out of the teacher parking lot downtown, and we got taken to Reuben.
Wasn't Reuben at the Dairy Queen?
I don't remember. But he had us lined up in the office, and we were all crying so vehemently. I mean, and he'd have to walk out to stop laughing, and then to come back in to preach. Do you want me to tell your mother? What would your mother say? What would your mother say? We were just morbid. We were crying so hard. I think you were driving the yellow 64 Super Sport. All right, well.
Y'all must have done it so many times you can't remember which one.
Well, we were out 7th period, and we usually went somewhere 7th period. Yeah.
Back to the late to school, I wish Ronnie Clark was here, because the first time he got his license, his mother allowed him to have the vehicle, and he picked me up to go to school. And we were fighting over the radio. And he would not call his mother. He had to call my dad.
Well, Lynn, since the story was about you, you're going to have to come tell about yourself. Oh, no. Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay, I've led just a dull life. I sell real estate in Calhoun County, Anniston, Jacksonville, Oxford, and bought a little company 3 years ago. Fixing to open a mortgage company. Trying to make a living, and all I do is work. Got 2 kids. My son's 33, my daughter's 22. Just now gotten off payroll, last summer. But I guess that's all.
I still got 2 on the payroll.
Jeez, here, blasting caps.
Oh, cool.
I need to blast them out. You know, we were going to give those stadium seats for grandkids, but I don't know. Let's go back to the blasting parts. No homework story. Wait, I'm thinking that John Bates had some story last year about, or on the internet, it was about skipping, or something. Yeah, it was. No, that was you. It was you. Well, let's see. John, come tell us about you and your company, and see if you can think about it. It was a skipping school story, or a... It was on the internet. Do you remember it? No, that Piggy Mitchell person didn't come. I think that person was an alien.
A skunk with put it in a grocery bag and turn it loose in the basement. And it got sick and had to go home. That's about the closest. That was just a simple little story.
That's a new one. I didn't hear that one.
Y'all want me to tell you everything you ever wanted to know about him, right?
Yeah.
Nah. He's a pretty good guy. We've been married forever. We have 2 daughters. We have 3.5 grandchildren. We have one due in September. We have 2 red-headed, blue-eyed, fair-complected granddaughters and a little grandson. He's 2.5. The girls are 12 and 5. And we spend a lot of time babysitting and going to the beach. And that's about it. And we're on our way to Panama City shortly.
Can I go?
Sure.
Fun. Thank you. Thank you. Payroll. We got a money pig here, and we think someone who loves to shop. The men can nominate their wives if they don't know. Who's the biggest shopper in here?
Dianne.
Spends the most. Oh.
Dianne Jones.
Dianne
Jones.
Dianne Jones. Mike Parker. Mike Parker. Somebody in here does reenactment, and I told him you did. Whoever told me that, y'all got to get together. Over here. Sandlin's. Civil War reenactment. Big into it, both of them. Ah, Mike Parker's big into it.
After 30 years, I'd get more than a high private. I should.
No. All right. Loves to shop. Diane, come on. You've been nominated.
Oh, me.
Tell us about your family.
Don't stand in front of me. Stand on that side. What about Marian? I love to shop. I like to spend money. I like to spend Bob's money. I like to collect money. I work for the Florida Department of Revenue. Have been in Panama City for the past 25 years. Sorry y'all didn't find me before this year because this is great, and we thank you.
Oh, good. Good. Here you go.
Check out the house. I love the carved Indian in the house. Y'all got to go see it. Chief, Indian, he's Indian Chief. His name's Chief. He's wonderful. Well, we want to know, we're going to give a bottle pop for this. Who has the oldest grandchild? Just the oldest. Who thinks they might? Who? 14-year-old grandchild. Anybody got an older grandchild? All right. Anybody? Who's got the youngest grandchild? It needs to be It needs to be out of the womb. Okay. Who has one under a year? Who has a grandchild under a year? Okay. Who has a grandchild under 6 months? Under 7 months? Under 8 months? Under 9 months?
I like 10 months.
10 months. How old's your grandchild? Oh. Neva, come tell about yourself.
You're next.
Huh? No, I didn't tell about me. I married Charlie Garrett right out of high school. After we graduated in, June? We got married in August. I have 2 beautiful children, one wonderful children, one beautiful, one son. This is my granddaughter, Madison. That's my daughter, Tracy. And now, where is Gail? I should have let Gail have Charlie, all except for my 2 kids. She wanted him, and I ended up with him. I should have let her have him. But I do have 2 beautiful children out of that, wonderful children. And now I'm married to Joe. We built this house while we lived in our travel trailer, and it was parked right by that pole out there with the light and the plugs on it. And we lived in that for a year and a half while Joe built our house. The only way it worked was I worked days and he worked nights. That's how we got through it. And he's worked real hard. He's worked hard for this reunion. He cleared all the land up there. Well, I helped him. I had poison oak twice. On that
property up there behind the mailbox so that we'd have plenty of room to park, because he talked to the mayor, and the mayor said, it's fine that you have the reunion, just don't block the road out there. So we had to clear land so everybody could park. And Joe's worked real hard on this, so I owe it all to him and the guys that cooked today. Thank you.
Okay. Do you go by Bud all the time?
Most of the time.
Okay. Ernie.
Tell about yourself.
Got a daughter 31 years old, got a granddaughter that's 3 and a grandson that's 9 months. His name is Peyton Coy and her name is Piper Madison. And thanks Joe and Neva. It's great to be here. Thanks for everything you've done.
Great. There you go.
Good. Now, we were wondering what kind of music you like. Who's been to an opera concert? Okay. Who's been to a rock concert lately? Who's been to a jazz concert lately? Who's been to a beach music concert lately? They do dance in the Carolinas. All right, well, we have a award for someone who's been to a concert in the last little bit. So, who else was that? Suzy, you're the winner. Because we want to hear your story. You are a character, girl.
Always was. I am a groupie mom. I have a kid. My oldest kid plays in a band. Has for 4 years now. I've been to Chicago. I've been to Florida. I've been to Georgia. Maybe they're going to get famous someday. But we travel around everywhere we can and chase them. Their friends just think it's so awesome that we do this. And because they said my parents wouldn't do that for anything. But one of the thrills of my life with that particular kid was the first band he was in when he opened up in Chicago for Toby Keith and Ricochet, and then in front of 25,000 people with Diamond Rio, and I was on the very front row, and he was up there playing his drums. And I just love it, and they're good. Y'all can look on their website. It's standard-candle.com. So check them out.
How many children do you have?
3 boys.
And what do the others do?
One's a photographer that does all the concerts for around the country, and except he's really in computer engineering, but this is his sideline. And the other one is a kid that's going to be a psychologist with child psychology. And last summer he got picked out of 2,500 entries and went and worked a internship with Colin Powell in Washington, D.C. And he was my kid who in first grade they told me to put him in a school for special children because he'd never be able to learn. He's on full scholarship. His college has cost us $3.26. The other one's $27,000 a year. And I don't know, y'all just remember Jeff Purvis, not the race car driver. But I really think he'll end up in politics someday because he hates how the system works so bad. And he was around it enough to say, I'd like to make a difference. And he is just all for helping these kids that get lost by the wayside. I don't know which direction that one's going to go. He's wide open. So I got 3 good boys in this day and age, and I don't know what I did right, except I always told them, everything you do has a consequence, so think. And that's all I ever told them. I never told them don't do anything, because I said I probably did it. That's all. I'm not going to tell you don't. But just know that everything has a consequence, so choose wisely. And I have just been blessed, but boy, I have a ball. Most of the times when Jimmy and I've been to more nightclubs since I turned 50 than I ever did growing up. And we're usually the oldest people in there. And so finally one day I asked the boys, I said, does it bother you that we come as much as we do, and they, oh no, Mother, our friends just think it's so cool, and we just have a good time with it. I mean, I get right out there and dance with them, and everything else, never even touch beer. I thought, you don't have to do that to have fun anymore. I don't want to feel bad the next day. And, but it's exciting. It's been great watching them grow up. I'm so excited to see all y'all. I got out of the car today. I looked at Debbie. I said, I don't recognize anybody here. And once I got up close and could see it and put the pictures on, okay, I know who you are now. But it was freaky when I opened that car. I wasn't in all this last year, so I had 10 years, or however many it was. So anyway, y'all, it's just great to see you. Y'all look so good.
Here, Pop Rock Mama. Oh, and I said I would ask this question because I don't remember. 5 years, we had a 5-year reunion, right? And somebody said they got their check back at the 10-year reunion. So did we not have one at 10 years? And we had one at, we didn't have one at 15. And we had one at 20. So we've had 2. So, and last year was a party. This was a party. Maybe on the 40th we'll have a full-blown reunion somewhere. I don't think we can go past this. This is as much as we can do. Okay, so we wanted to know who has changed the least. So look around and see who you nominate for who has changed the least.
Marian.
Yeah, Marian.
Just the same.
Good, Marian, your turn. Come. Get up here. You get to tell.
Okay. I want to thank you too, Neva and Joe, for having us. This has been great. And anyway, wow, all these faces.
Where you live, about your children,
I live in Kennesaw, Georgia, and I'm divorced, and I've got 3 precious children. Tara's 31, Heath is 27, Adam, when they get up that high, you forget how old they are, you know. Adam is 24, I think. And Wesley is my grandson, and he's 6, and I have another grandson on the way. And what else? Yeah. Oh, I work at a company called Hewitt. And I've been there for 9 years and enjoyed immensely. So.
And she draws.
Draw, yeah. That's my hobby.
She can sketch. People, really good. Really good.
So, that's me.
All right. Good.
You want the top rocks or you give them to somebody else? Well, now I hate to cook. Tony, I introduced myself to Tony and said, I'm Mary Louise and I don't cook. And that's a problem. We can't go any further. And he said he knew how to cook.